Welcome back to Anchor Designs. I'm James, and today I've made a knife grinding jig. So let's jump straight into it and get started. Okay, so this is the foundation of the knife grinding jig, and these are all made from 6mm mild steel. We have a base plate, we have this guide pin in here, and we have our adjuster at the back. Now you'll notice that everything has a place, and these are be able to keyed in here and to be slot into here, ready for fabrication and welding. So what we have is, you can't get this wrong, so you've got one that goes into the side at the back here, and then we've got our front piece ready for our clevis pin, I believe they're called, ready to be slot onto here, and then with some more parts to be able to use these as a hinge. So everything's laid out, and it's a very flexible type design because it's easy to manufacture, easy to put together, and is cost effective. So let's take a look at our flat plate here, and this again has all been cut out on a laser, and these will come if I do decide to sell these, if people are actually interested in these. These are all M5 holes, so that gives you a nice bit of flexibility, so you can give two options of using a M5 or a M6 bolt. So you can tap these with a M6 tap, allowing you to screw these in and actually clamp down on these, or you can use M5 and you can use these just to put on stops, or you can put these as ledges for your parts to sit on and not really worry about it too much. Again, it's quite nice if you are wanting to grind this to an exact point, that on your machine you can use a much longer bolt, something like this, and you can use that to stop and move these around, etc. Now this is the prototype version. From putting the other one together and using this, what I've found is there might be a few little tweaks that I might do before I start with these. One being an uneccentric, I think is what I want to call it, is a ring here, and that will allow you to adjust this, minimum adjustment of being able to move this up and down. So again, prototype stage at the minute. I'm not sure, I'm looking for feedback and might send this to a few people. But the main reason of me making this is obviously to sharpen and make my own knives. And I started off, as many people do, with the typical bit of angle iron with some lollipop sticks on the bottom, trying to make a decent angle, and it works fine. What this allows you to do is hone in on those angles. It's not going to be overly expensive, and I might just sell these as kits to start off with. I'm not sure. Again, this is something for me as an aid, as a jig, as a fixture, whatever you want to call it, just to help me and continue my interest in the hobby. So let's take a look at it a little bit more assembled. I'm going to put this to one side here. So this is at its second stage, I'm going to call this, and we have everything ground up, well prepped, ready to go, and we have everything tapped and threaded in. So again, you can't get this wrong. If you do get this wrong, you deserve a medal. So as a rough setup starting out, we've got two standard M8 machinery handles here. These are quite hard to source and actually get a decent supply of these, so I might not include these with a kit if I do decide to go ahead. I might 3D print something like this just as a starting handle, but again, I made these wide enough because I'm pretty cold at the minute, so I've been wearing some gloves and etc. Not that you should really be wearing gloves on sanders, but hey ho. So I made this a little bit wider for the gorillas amongst us, just to make that a little bit more accessible and a little bit more usable. So we have everything on this jig is designed to be serviceable and easy to get to the market. So there's nothing fancy on here, there's nothing hard to get hold of, everything's standard threads, everything is you know, be able to buy off of eBay. We're using these rose joints on here to give a really accurate and strong hinge mechanism onto the front here for those micro adjustments. And they've all got part codes on these, so you know you've had this for a few years and dust and ingress of dirt has knackered these, or you've dropped it and you've broken them. You can buy these standard from, you know, part shops, etc. And that's really where I wanted to go with this, is something that's affordable. Again, everything that I've made to be sold, forges, grinding jigs, it's all easy accessible stuff. So I tried to stick to that trend. So there is a bit of welding on this, and I don't know if people would want to make this themselves as a kit. You know, I really don't know. I quite like kits. You know, if there's an option, I'd buy it as a kit. But again, very straightforward. Everything has been able to, you know, lock off here. So, you know, if you are adjusting this and moving this around, you can lock these in. Sorry. Say onto here, that's now locked onto that spindle. Obviously it's not welded as of yet, but everything is locked off and ready to go. Now there will be 2 bolts onto here because I like to have that adjustment. I know it's a little bit of a fanny around, but again, once you've got this kind of set up and being able to move and it's welded in, it's going to be a lot easier for you to handle and position into place. Now, I struggle with small, accurate little things to try and read, so I've been using a digital level box, something like this, and it's something I already had in the workshop. So you set this off to then zero it, like so, and then you can get a pretty accurate reading of where you want them to go. Now I'm sticking to around 7 degrees. You're not going to be able to see this because I'm sure it's moving around all over the place. But to actually get this all lined up and not moving is very easy. And again, if I want to move this, then I just you know, it's really straightforward. So let's get welding these sections together and then see where we are from there and start grinding some knife blanks. So I've got everything set up. I'm just playing with this at the minute and then working out what angle I want. And again, all I'm going to be using is this digital level box. So I'm going to zero that. And what I can do, I'll get to about 90. This gets complicated. I'm gonna have to do this off camera but you get the idea. So typically what I've been doing is the research is around 7 degrees on here, and that's going to give you a nice all round kind of what you want really. And I'm going to cheat as well because I haven't tapped any of these holes yet. I've just been using some countersunk top M5 bolts which I've got, and let's do that off camera, get everything set up, and then go over to the 2x72-inch bench grinder. So I've been going quite high up here, and I just tend to try and find where I want some holes. And it doesn't really matter as such where you can kind of line them up and get them. Again, hence mentioning earlier, what I might do is get some like eccentric curves on here that I could get. So there's a one there, and then I will perhaps, whoops. So I'm just going to very loosely, yeah, about there. Yeah, that's nice and solid. Not going anywhere. Oh yeah, I've also got on here anchor designs, which looks pretty nice. So let's work out our angle here. So there we go. This is a bit easier. So I'm going to go for around that, just there. Tighten everything down, like so. 10mm spanner. Okay, now you will note that this has already got a bevel on it, and just to start off with, I've made 2 scribed centre lines. This was another blank that I've got. I haven't heat treated this yet, and I don't have any other blanks to show you. And I wanted to get this video done today because a few people on Instagram have been asking and inquiring about this. So I'm going to assemble everything, and I will meet you over the bench grinder. Right, so I've put a little bit of a Sharpie line mark on my blank here just to show you. Again, this isn't the fresh blank because I've been playing with it and I wanted to make a video. And I've got this set up to 90. This is nice and square for me, and it's just nice and easy. It's a good height. So as you can see, very, very nice and even bevel on here, and I've taken off that grind side. So I'm just going to flip this back round again. I'm not going to make a full knife today because I just haven't got it in me, to be honest. It's very cold out here. But again, if I had some more smaller nuts in here and I did a bit more prep, then I wouldn't have had to sacrifice a small little cap head. Again, doesn't really matter again, but let's just flip this round and get that bevel changed over again, as you can see there. But that's 120 grit, didn't take any time at all, and I've just finished off that final grind scribe line just at the top. Now there's no need at all to touch this. This is already set up, so it's very much a one singular setup. Then you're going to be away, and you don't really have to worry about your setup, because 7 degrees is 7 degrees. So that's the bevel that was on that side, and that was a little bit less. Again, we've got that bit a bit hot there, but that's okay. And that's what we've just put on there now. So again, just playing with it at the minute. And there we go, that's the other bevel on there. I've got a little bit more to go on there, apologies for that. Then harden, then treat, but again, just to show you, very, very even, very nice, quick and easy bevels on the blades here. And that needs moving over a little bit. There's a few things I will change. I quite like all the fasteners to be the same, which they pretty much are, but I just want to trim some bits and bobs down. But it's solid, it's nice and heavy. I feel like, you can drop this, it's not going to break. That's always a good test for me. And you can flatten these down if you want to. Same with this, get a flat surface plate, bit of glass, and then you can really flatten those down if you need to. But these are pretty flat to start with. Again, it's a good just starter, something to get you started. But it's nice, solid. Nothing's moving, clicking around, which is good, and replaceable parts. Let's summarise. Okay, well gents, I'm going to call it a wrap there, because I'm no doubt I'll be asked to make another video in probably a little bit more detail if I do decide to perhaps offer these to people. Just a few things that I kind of want to run through again. It's an affordable. I know I could have made this a lot fancier, a lot better. I've got plans where I've etched a protractor in here as well for setting your angles on a scale, and I worked out it's going to be a hell of a lot more expensive to actually make those fixings and buy in more fancy things. Again, wanted to be affordable and accessible, and as well for me to actually make, because to make one-off of things, I'm not far off buying a fancy one. I'm just putting that out there. To make 2 of these, I have 2 kits here, to actually go out and speak to a laser cutting company to actually make these for you, make the program and all that jazz. It's not cheap. So hence why doing this is a bit of a test. It's the Mark 1 prototype. I'd love to hear your feedback. I did put quite a lot of thought into this, and this is probably version 8 of this now. This is the first one that has gone to production. And I'm pretty comfortable where it is. There's a few little things I'd change. The first one, this was the handles were very inward and it was very boxy and square. And I wanted this wider because I was like this, which some of them are. The import Chinese ones are very, very like this. Very uncomfortable. This is nice because you can look down the blade. I should have been sharpening this a little bit higher so I could see this bevel line a bit easier. But again, it's a flexible starting, and it's probably a good foundation for people. So I do want to reiterate, I'm not a professional knife maker. I only just get by with what I'm doing with this. But I've done a lot of research and quite a lot of, reading articles and things. So I'd like to think I'm getting there. And for what this is, and for what this would has cost me, it's a bit of a risk, really. But again, this is for me. I've done this. I've never had the intention of me bringing these and trying to sell them. But again, if it can cover some cost of the shed, then why not? The point I'm trying to make with this, if you do know what you're doing or you have any suggestions in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. One, would you buy this? Would you be interested in it? If so, how much would it be? Secondly, would you rather have this in a kit? Would you rather have it being built by myself, etc.? Most people, I'm making an assumption here, I could be wrong, but most people who are in, whether it be welding or fabricating or something of that nature, has probably got access to a welding machine or some way of either sticking this together or know someone that can or does weld. So obviously if I've got to weld it, then it's my time is money, all that jazz. That's where I'm going with that. Any way to improve it, this is again version 8 of this that I've done. A lot of CAD drawing and layout and farting about with things, and I'm pretty happy with it. A few things I'd perhaps change is a cheaper way to get these handles, whether these be 3D printed or I offer this kit without the handles, because these are ridiculously expensive. I needed something chunky so I could actually hold it. So if I was to sell this, these are the two pricey bits, and it might be nice for people to customize them themselves. I don't know. Leave a comment. Genuinely, I would like people's opinions on this. If you would be interested, if you tell me, James, that looks a bag of shit, don't even bother. That's fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I would just appreciate what your thoughts would be on this. Weight-wise, it's pretty hefty. I don't know a weight to hand, but again, it's I've got to take into consideration packaging and all that kind of thing. So how much would you pay for it? You're not going to offend me. I'm a big boy, and if you'd want it in a kit or not a kit, if it'd be interested, how would you improve this? Because again, I'm all ears, people. Everybody knows something I don't, and I genuinely, if I'm going to start selling this, I want to do it once. I want to do it right, and I don't want them to come back, because as soon as these go out, I want people to be happy and get good feedback. I don't want to dick around with like things have fallen off and broken and the handles are crap and whatever. That's the nature of trying to buy and sell things. I'm not very good at doing that. So I'm good at buying. So yeah, leave a comment. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Anchor Designs. This is a new product potentially and a new design for myself. And I'm going to continue using this and making more pokey things. So thanks again for watching, thanks for your support, and happy 2021, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.